Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Jaeger Precision YouTube channel. I get asked all the time to review different things, and I'd probably say for the things that are offered to me for review, that's just me getting emails in my inbox or messages. I'd probably say about 90% of the stuff that I get offered, I don't accept. So it could be stuff that's just so vastly different from the channel, things that don't make sense, things from companies that I already know about, and let's. I'm just very selective. Let's say that. So it needs to be relevant. It's got to be related to accessories, the replicas themselves, upgrade parts, all that good stuff. If it's relevant to the channel, I'll put it up there. But every now and again, might get something funky, and I'll just review it anyway because I'm interested in seeing what it's like. And I do get contacted by a lot of accessories companies. Now you'll see that I think maybe last year we looked at like things like this from Siley. They sent me a couple of sites, and really good quality sites, to be honest, and they did offer discount codes for the viewers. No money was paid to me, nothing was written where I had to say good things about the product, and that's always the case with stuff that I review. It just has to be able for me to just do it openly and freely in an unbiased opinion, which I give across to you guys. So accessories wise, I'm offered a lot. I don't accept it all, and I've got a bit of a stack of boxes here for things that I want to show you guys. I know I'm buzzing about the camera, but the first one I'll show you today is a thing from Klarus. Now this actually came to me a while ago now, and it got put in with all like guns and stuff, things that I've purchased, things that I've been sent free of charge. It all gets put in a queue, so to speak, and this one just somehow got missed, I think. So this is a light that Klarus have sent me, and again, this is one that came into my email inbox, and I do read them all. And the way that they presented themselves, they just said, can we send you something? You're free to talk about it and say whatever you like about the product. No, no agreements or anything like that in place. We'd just love to see what you think about the torch. And I've got many things like this, torches, red dots, stuff like that, which we're going to look over. So the reason why I accepted this one was it was just very unique looking. It's very minimalistic. It supposedly comes with the mounts and all the pressure switches. So we're going to take a look at it today. And I think, sort of flashlights and stuff on our replicas, it's probably quite high ranked up there. Now I'm just going to grab the first thing that I've got here. So when I have guns, we buy the guns, we do spend a fortune on these things. Then we maybe put upgrade parts and magazines just to get it worthy, to be skirmishable. Next thing you're probably going to want to do is throw on some kind of red dot or optic and accessories, handguards and stuff like that. But over the years, I think it's become more apparent that I'll always have some kind of flashlight, torch, whatever you want to call it. Because even though, let's say, you're in a woodland environment in the day, I don't need, and I've done that before years ago. I don't need a torch. I'm going out to do an outdoor event in a woodland. The sun's going to be shining. It's in summer. And I don't need a torch, and being caught out a few times where maybe you're in a woodland environment, but you go into a building or a structure. Maybe the game scenario, you're searching for some kind of item. Those dark corners, you can't see them. And a good example of this would actually be, I think it's Phoenix Airsoft. So they're like an outdoor site, but in the middle of like their game area, they've got like this kill house type thing, and it doesn't. Their structures have windows, but there's this one kill house at Phoenix, and I think it was the first time I ever went there, and I didn't put a flashlight on because I was like, I don't need it. And luckily I had a flashlight on my sidearm because this building in this woodland environment was just absolutely pitch black. If you've ever been to that site, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And since then, I've done it many times over the years, but since then I was like, right, I need to make sure I'm prepared. And I think this is probably one of the most important accessories I could probably say that you need, apart from like a red dot or something like that. Sling, torch is quite up there. So Klarus have sent me this GL4. we're going to take a look. So, very nice box. Reminds me of like the old iPhones. I haven't had an iPhone since like the iPhone 4, but nice white cardboard box here. And we just flip it open. It's dead simple. It's got everything we need inside. We have the GL4, which you'll see here. Very, very nice. We've actually got like a little bit of a silicon piece here, which has got a USB-C. So I imagine this will have some kind of rechargeable battery. Yeah, you've got a huge Klarus battery in here. 5,000 milliamps. That is a chunk of a battery. So keep this charged up before you go to your game. I'd probably say, go as far to say that that battery, depending on how efficient it is probably going to last you a weekend. What I like about this, having a look at it, is you've got kind of like this little gas pedal type thing on here, which turns out it's a strobe. So we've got a push button on the back. You can see how incredibly bright that is. You've got a nice hot spot in the middle, and then, you know, sort of like a washed out area around the edges, but this is very close and it's giving off good light, so that's very nice. And maybe you're carrying this, maybe you're not using this for airsoft, maybe you're walking the dog at night time. Who knows, you know, especially women out there, they need to be a little bit more secure in what they're doing compared to us men. But, you know, say you're going dog walking, man or woman, you need to see where you're going. Maybe you're walking the dog at night when it gets dark really early outside. I really like that feature where you've got this button on the top. You know, you can use your torch, see where you're going, make sure you don't lose the dog. But then let's say someone or someone's causing you a bit of hassle. That can be quite disorientating, which is a feature I quite like that. What else we got in here? Let's just pull this out here. So underneath, we've got our instruction manuals. So all the bits and pieces you need there to understand everything about the torch. There we go, English. And just tell you how to put the mount on, how to put the pressure switch, how to mount the mount, So you got your instructions there. That, I believe, was some kind of protector for the battery when it come in a long time ago now. We've got some little screws and a spare O-ring there and an Allen key. We also have a little pamphlet here where they've got their different torches. So I'd never heard of Claris before. Well, have I heard of Claris? I'm not too sure. But USB-C charging cable. We have the pressure switch here, which I actually like that. That actually comes with a Picatinny mount right off the bat. We've got these little wings here, so maybe if you're mounting it to something that doesn't use like a top rail fitment like that, very easy to get like a cable tie or a band of some kind and attach it to your handguard, and it just slides in there. I actually really like that. Not a big fan of this section in the middle. Like, you know, most torches now, they'll come with a cable without that in the middle, and it's much easier to route and hide your wires. This dangling off the side of your rifle is going to get in your way, isn't it? So if it was me personally, I'd just delete this if they are listening. And then inside here, we've got a mount. So this mounts to your normal rail. Got a twist fitment there, which is your quick detach for the torch itself. And what's actually pretty cool about this is we have two mounts. So you can put that on your rifle. We can slide this in. I imagine it can go either way. Yeah. And we can flip it around the other way. Yeah. But instead of, you know, having this, maybe you've got that on the top behind your front iron sight, maybe, I don't know. You can mount it on the top, but you've also got the side style mount as well. So there's two mounts, 90 degrees dissimilar. So that's very very cool. It reminds me of the one that you just saw on the Olight. I do like these because it's got the same style. You unlock it, you press it in, and you can pull it out like so. Again, look, there's none of that winding nonsense on these wires. I did go crazy with Olights a few years ago, and I bought loads of them. And to be honest with you, they've been absolutely smashing lights. And I'm hoping this can compete. And it's never a bad idea to have too many torches. So just pop this in here. So we don't have a quick detach style point on the torch, just to like, on the Olights I like that because it's got like a magnetic latch and it just pops on. So with the Klarus, it's not a big deal. You just need to unscrew the back and then we can screw in the pressure switch just like that. And then we've actually got a couple of buttons. So we've got momentary on and constantly on. I don't know if there's different settings. Let's have a quick look. Sometimes they have different settings for strobes. Output modes, yeah, high, medium, low, cycle, press and hold for 2 seconds to enter strobe. Maybe not. I don't know. You got settings there. It says there's different modes, so whatever you want to do. Mode switch, main switch. Main switch, press and turn on, off and on. Mode switch, hold for turbo output. Release to turn off. So that's on. Who knows? We'd have to mess with that. But, you know, nice that you get all the gear included. You've got a rechargeable battery, so you haven't got to buy loads of CR123s, which is usually a bit of a bane. But all the bits we need here. I don't know what the spare screws for. I imagine they're just spare screws for this here. We're going to get this mounted on something, so I need a volunteer. What do we have? You know what? I'm going to go for the AK-12. So the reason I've picked this is because we've got loads of real estate there, and this could go very easily on there. We could mount it on the side, or we could mount it here to get it closer to the top rail section. So what we're going to do, we'll figure out what size it is. I imagine it's a 2.5. 2.5, is it? Yeah. So we just loose these screws out here. And you can basically just decide, is this going to pop out? How do we work this? So I thought it'd just be pop these out. Am I being dumb? I might be being stupid here. Should read the little pamphlet, shouldn't I? So 2 screws. Am I being stupid? Loosen the screws in the rail adapter with the included hex wrench. Align the adapter with the rail. Tighten the screws to lock the adapter. Is it just stuck? So I can't actually loosen that off. How does it work? Right, let me try and figure this out. All right, so I managed to get it to budge, but I don't know whether when they've screwed this in from the factory, they've leaked a bit of Loctite or something. But basically, I had to hit this with a hammer to loosen it off. So not so good there on the mount from Klarus. And my only concern now is if I tighten this up on the rifle, am I going to be able to get it off? But I'm going to have to do it. So it's just very tight for some reason. I'm not sure why. But let's go for it. May end up having to cut this off the rifle. So I like the torch. I thought I was going to like the mount. But yeah, you're going to have to smack it with a hammer to loosen it off so you can literally put it on your rifle. Now, this might just be an isolated thing. With this one, it could have been in storage for so long, they could have put a bit of Loctite on the screws and it's just leaked out into the rail section. But once you've got it open, you know, it goes on pretty damn good. It's nice and tight, it's not going anywhere. And then we just take the torch and we slide it on like that, and that's all you need to do. And to take it off, it's under some spring pressure. You just turn that, it pops forward, and then you pull it off the rifle. But as well as that, we can actually situate the light there, which sits a lot closer. So I'll show you this now. If we put it on the side, you'll see it sticks out really far from the rifle. I wouldn't like that with a mounting option. It's going to snag on something, but we don't need to fret because we can take it off there, shove it in the top mount, and look how much closer and cleaner that looks to the rifle. Now, again, I'm not a fan of this wire, but we do have a nice little fitment here. Is this going to go on? Let's see. Where would I have to have it? Let's hold the rifle here. So hold it like that. I want it about there. Try and hide the wires out the way. Let's pull this out. So it's a simple just push fit. Oh, I need to go one back because there's not a rail slot there. There we go. That just sort of slots on in place, and I like how minimalistic that is. And then we can just take the pressure switch, slide it into place. It's got a nice bit of grip on there, so it's not going to fall out by itself. And to be honest with you, that coil, we can probably hide it mostly behind the torch, so it's not too bad. I would, of course, we could tuck it up out the way like that, so it's not too bad. I'd probably wrap a band around it or something like that. And we've got a nice tack light. We can have it on and off, or we can have it momentary on. I can't find out how to do any modes with this. Usually you would a series of button presses, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. And that is it. That is the Klarus GL4. Just a little bit confusing with how you set it up. So default is tactical. From off, press and hold mode switch for 5 seconds. Press the main switch without releasing the mode switch. Hold the mode switch for 5 seconds. Press the main switch without releasing the mode switch, and when the indicator lamp flashes red green, to switch between settings. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing. So maybe with this torch we would have to do it. Let's try it with the tactile switch instead of the pressure switch. So I'll put this switch back on. And you could run it like this. You wouldn't have to use the pressure switch. You could very easily mount this the other way and just have it on your thumb. So that's strobe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah. So now it turns it on. So the back button just turns it on. And then the momentary switch flips through the different brightness settings. So settings operation, main switch, press to turn on at turbo, press again to turn off. Mode switch, press to turn on strobed, hold for 2 seconds to lock. Output modes, it's a little bit confusing, but 2, 3, 4, 5. So that goes between the two. Two, 3, 4. A little bit confusing here. 4, 5. So I can't get it back to its original setting. So I can't get it back to that flash on there. So perhaps it's just a setting that we need to look at. I mean, honestly, I can't be bothered to figure it out. Strobe's not everything. From an airsoft point of view, it's going to be much better. Oh, that's annoying. Hold it down, see what it does. It does this weird flash thing. Maybe we put it on that and then we hold it down. Who knows? I'll have to read through it, otherwise I'm going to be here all night. In terms of a torch and how it's constructed, it does feel fairly nice quality. Plus side, plus points, getting the mount in the box, you haven't got to figure all that out. It's not an ugly mount that you see nowadays, which I actually do have one here, or had one here. There we go. This is one of the original Olight mounts, and you can see how freaking ugly this is and big and bulky it is. Obviously they've moved on now. This is back in the day when I used to run older Olights. But a lot of the Olights, well, I think all of them use these magnetic fixture systems. So you just have a magnetic button and it just pops on the back. You haven't got to screw it on and off like this one, which I think is the only thing that sets it back. It goes really nicely into the mount. I do like this little feature here and how slimline this pressure switch mount is. Very nice indeed. That's probably how you'd use it. But yeah, what do you think of the Klarus GL4? It would be interesting if that was actually the right way up, but I won't keep picking faults with it. So special thank you to Klarus for sending this out and letting me have a look at it. I was intrigued by the GL4 when they sent it in to me, and I was interested to show it off. For the gubbins out there, it says it throws it to 370 meters, 3,300 lumens. I can believe that because this thing is bright as. Comes with a charger, comes with a rechargeable battery, comes with a mount, comes with a pressure switch. As long as this isn't too badly priced, honestly, it's not a bad option if you want to go away from like the cheap Chinese airsoft branded lights that tend to be more trouble than the money that you're saving. The mount on this does get a bit of an L because of how much trouble it was to get it apart to actually fit it to the rifle. So, which I'm probably going to have a right pain in the arse trying to get it off the AK-12. So you're going to have to use like a little flathead in the mount here and sort of pry it. And okay, you might say, well, there might be a special way to do the mount. Honestly, things like this need to be so user-friendly that I shouldn't have to dig around. Like, if you can pull something out of the box and just use it, barring obviously the settings for the torch, I understand that. You don't want that printed on the outside. But everything like this should be easy, and it should be, toolless. Like, if they'd have just given me that Allen key in the box, I wouldn't have been able to fit this. I had to hit the mount with a hammer to loosen it up because I couldn't get anything in to sort of pull this back. So it does need to be user-friendly in that way where, I'm quite fortunate. I've got a load of tools here on the bench, so running into this problem, and you'll see that we can't actually close this mount in. We have to hit it with a hammer. So marked down for that. But the torch itself is pretty nice. It's got some nice features. What would I be using this? Would I personally be using this? Now, this is coming from someone that's got torches on most of their rifles, and I do think the Olight that I showed you is leaps ahead of this. The answer to that, would I use this? Yes. But honestly, the feature that, or the sort of situation that I'd use this in, is I'd be using this as a handheld. I'd have to figure out the settings because I've messed them up. To be honest, it's not that bad. You can... Oh, it is remembering now. It wasn't remembering before. So you just on and off, and then you press the buttons to dim. So you won't get as much bounce back. To use it as a handheld, I imagine it would be nicer to not have this mount on there. Do we have a 2mm? Can we take this off? So if we do loosen these screws, this is probably going to be the longest video I've ever done about a torch, but I'm just discovering this at the same time as you are. It would be nice if this could be pulled off to use it by hand, because if you're using it by hand, you're not going to find that the most comfortable. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's even more ugly underneath. So you probably just leave that on there. But thanks very much to Klarus for sending this out. You know, it's always nice to see new brands and see how they do things differently. Maybe there's some instance where someone's looking at this torch online and they've just tried to find a video of someone messing about with it, which if you've come across my video, hope it's helped you. And we're moving on to some more interesting accessories, because it can't always be about, you know, the airsoft replicas themselves. So that was a very nice scent from them. I am very interested to look at this next one, which is a pistol torch, which is by a company called Aimwin. They actually sent me a couple of things. They've sent me a very intuitive pistol torch / laser and a red dot sight, so we'll be looking at that in some upcoming videos. Thanks for tuning in as always. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Jaeger Precision Discord. You can find the link in the description below. And as always, from me and Bench, and from Klarus, again, this was sent to me free of charge, but hope you like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I imagine a lot of airsofters are going to want to go for the more tactile looking torches like Surefires and such, but there we have it. But from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.